So the thing I actually want to talk about today is like the meritocracy, or like basically the idea that people can work, or what they receive is like kind of in line with how hard they work, and whether or not you believe that is fully applicable in the United States, or just like in different places around the world, and if you think that's a good thing, or if like that kind of needs to change.
Well, okay, what do you mean by fully applicable? Like you think it's 100%, like America's 100% a meritocracy?
Um, I guess fully applicable would be, yeah, that's 100%.
I mean,
I don't really expect you to have that view of like, but
no,
I think that's
no,
how
I
you
don't.
define
I
it.
think obviously to some extent, it's just like it's a combination of things, right? So meritocracy is not only your effort, but your actual skills and talents, and it's based off merit. Um, and then the other side, I can't remember what it's called. The alternative to a meritocracy, it's called a
Um,
whatever. Put it on the screen. I can't
yeah,
remember.
I'll put up the
But
definition.
yeah, so it's more just like everyone should get the same rewards equally, um, despite like the amount of effort or their skills or traits, right? Because I guess on the other hand, like the counter argument is they're trying to look for like I guess like equality, but equality isn't necessarily fairness, right? So like I think obviously we are a meritocracy, like based on what your skills are and how hard you've worked to gain those skills, you'll gain the benefits hopefully equally to that, depending on how well you're able to advocate for yourself. um, but yeah, I fully think that that is something that is an American idea.
Yeah. A lot of the argument against the meritocracy that I hear isn't necessarily that like you work hard and like don't receive things for that hard work, but that the opportunities that you get to, or just the opportunities that you get in general, can be lesser in America. Um, and I don't really believe.
Well, for that kind of statement, you'd have to ask, where's the proof of that? Obviously, someone who is in a wheelchair can't become an Olympic runner, right? That's not in their cards. But other than that, there's not really any like current laws or anything that's like inhibiting anyone from doing anything. And obviously, to some extent, like if one guy's 6'8", he's gonna have a better chance of going to the NBA. But just because you're 6'2" doesn't mean that you can't get to the same spot as that guy. You just have to work 2 times as hard, and that's just what it means to be born at a disadvantage. And meritocracy means that you can still become successful,
Yeah,
right?
I 100% agree with that.
And I think the only way we can become like almost like closer to a full meritocracy is if like somehow like this. I don't agree with this at all, but if you like were able to wipe the wealth of like a person after they die, like so they're not able to give it to their kids inherently, so that everyone starts at the same spot. I think that would be the only necessarily fair way to do it, because you don't give people something for nothing, right? So that I think that's a super unhealthy thing. So if you were to try and solve it, that would be the only way I'd go about it, and no one would be able to get behind that because people, and at the end goal of like wanting equality is people just want free stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of what like the other part of the argument is. Like socioeconomic statuses have a lot to do with it.
Right.
So, like you said, like generational wealth being passed down. I actually really don't have a problem with it because I think, like especially in today's age, it's easier than ever. And I mean, take that with a grain of salt. Like it's not easy, but it is easier than future generations to create that kind of wealth. I think in today's society, which goes towards it being as much of a meritocracy as like a nation can really hope for.
I mean, to some extent I could see because money makes money now, like especially like more than ever, like the ability to invest your money and like just like exponentially multiply it. I could see how someone could see that as unfair, but you work to get the money in the first place, and then you have to uh, really like spend time studying and learning how to make money,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's all something that you put effort into it, and like obviously it kind of gets easier to make money as you get wealthier, but I think it's still just as fair as anything else.
And it's not even necessarily that it's easier in some cases, but more that you have like the cushion to fail. You know what I mean? You can put $1 million into like a risky ETF or something and be okay with losing that. whereas someone who's only got 100 grand to their name, like just doesn't have that kind of like pillow to like soften that blow for them.
Sort of, but like they could still. It's just proportional, I guess, because like you put like if you have only $1,000, you'd invest $100, right? And then if you were actually good at it, you would be able to make up to the $1 million, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
not really. It's also the skill aspect to it, because uh, the guy who put $1 million in didn't start there. You know what I'm saying? And if he was given that $1 million, his father didn't start there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
No, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think this is the only part where I like think like the meritocracy doesn't apply like really in America is the like the cushion. I have no problem with it. I just think like I don't think you can really truly call that like equal. I think it's fair, but it's not equal. Fair in that like
right, but
you have this
equality is not fair.
exactly. Just like expanding on that though is like fair is being able to do the same things. Equality is would be like having the same amount to do that thing, and that's just not realistic.
Okay, so why does fairness matter though?
Fairness,
Yeah.
um, because if we don't have a society that's fair, um, you're to me it's like you're allowing elites to leverage like lower class people. That
So
kind of
you're
makes
saying
sense.
so you're saying if we have equality in our society, then there's going to be elites to leverage lower class.
If we had true, um, no, if we had equality, there would be no elites. There would be no,
Exactly, right?
yeah, which is not good necessarily.
Okay, wait, let me see where I was building with that. So wait, I asked you why is fairness important, and then you
Yeah.
said so that elites don't take advantage of people,
Um,
right?
yeah, I did say that. That sounds bad in hindsight. But that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, equality doesn't equal fairness.
Yeah, that's kind of the main point I think you're getting at.
Yeah. All right. Just had to think about it.
I don't know. I think that point's interesting though, because I think the two get like misconstrued a lot, and I don't know always that people know what they're advocating for when they're talking about the two.
Well, 100%. I mean, like when people look for like certain policies and like political candidates, they look at their policy and they say like, "Oh wow, like free healthcare for everyone." Like that sounds good. Like why wouldn't you vote for that? Like if you don't vote for like my grandma getting free healthcare, like you're evil.
Yeah, it sounds great on the
But then
face of
yeah,
it.
but like then you look at like the actual like how where the money has to come from and all this other stuff, and you're like, it's like where is that actual research when people actually vote for these kinds of policies?
Yeah, the equality of it can be a result of unfair practices.
Right.
I think it's a good way to look at it. Okay, so some of the argument, I kind of touched on it earlier, but people will say that even if once you have the opportunity, um, everyone has an equal like playing field. There are a lot of cases where like really rich people or like as I called them elites get more of those opportunities, and they think that's a terrible thing. I personally don't. I think it's just kind of honestly the way the world works. Um, but I'd be kind of
I
curious to
mean,
hear your
no,
thoughts.
I mean if you work harder, you get more benefits. That's what you get. I mean, if you look at like Snap, these people are getting like candy and stuff for their kids. It's like
It's gross.
you should know, like it's genuinely unhealthy. You're not helping people by giving them this stuff, and like people think they are, but like that's that is so addictive. I know that if I was like on the streets like that and I like had like this constant like intake of like government food, I would just never feel the need to do anything, you know, because I'm getting stuff, everything for free. I mean, if you look at the homelessness in San Francisco, I mean, that's a big aspect of it. These people are getting paid basically to live on the street.
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy.
it's like disincentivizing like a strong work ethic.
100%.
Because if I'm gonna get paid to, I mean, if you're a like hobo in San Francisco, I'm sure you could walk into a McDonald's and say, "Hey, I'd like to flip patties for you."
Right.
But if I'm gonna get paid the same to get high on the street and do whatever the hell I want,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I mean, it doesn't.
Exactly. Not helping anyone.
Yeah. Honestly, to me, I think that's a communist kind of like
No, it is. It's 100%
thinking.
to give out to give out free stuff is that's one step closer.
Yeah,
We lose more of our freedoms every year.
yeah, I agree with that. Um, I don't know, I think it's tricky though in a way now to kind of, well, not tricky to roll back those practices, but like the fallout of them might be
What do you
tricky.
mean by that? Like
So
what
like,
fallout?
I mean, if I'm the governor of California or
Right.
mayor of San Francisco, like I'm immediately cutting the paychecks to homeless. Like that's just not a good use of anyone's like tax dollars. But I think I don't know how like that kind of population would react. I think the left would be really mad, for one, which whatever, they're gonna be mad anyways. But like for the people that have been receiving those um, benefits,
Right.
I it'll be a huge change for them, which I don't think is a bad thing. Like I
No,
think
it is kind of like
you,
dipping a goldfish in like warm water, but like
yeah,
at the same time, like it's just that's just a short term thing. Like all these people, then not maybe two people. I doubt anyone will die. Like you know what I'm saying from it. A lot of people have their support, and I've even seen videos of people saying like, oh, like we have to actually buy food now. Where's our weed money?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
come on, man. Like, get it. Like, I don't even know. I
just
don't get a
yeah.
life. Like, I mean, yeah, it's just like what are you supposed to do? It doesn't matter. Like just the short term, you cut it off. People get upset. They'll do their little protest, and then it's just like
In the long
and
term,
then
it
they'll get a
actually,
job, and then it fixes shit.
yeah,
You
in the
don't.
long term, it'll actually
Yeah,
be
you don't.
beneficial.
Nah, you don't do it because you're afraid of the short term effects. Because even if people don't see the vision, like I kind of can relate this to my. I had a stats teacher. She was like it was like her first time ever coming to the school, and she taught like a completely different method where she would ask the questions before teaching us, and she would give us like 20 minutes to try and figure it out basically. And the kids weren't used to the change because they had like their structure, they had their easy classes and all this stuff, and she brought a completely new way to teach. And the students basically, I mean, she was having a hard time in her life, but the students basically just bullied her until she quit because
Oh wow.
because it was just so different. It was such a change, and she couldn't handle it. So I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's a good analogy for it.
I mean, in that case, did you find her new way of teaching like beneficial to you,
But here's the thing:
or did it like actually suck?
it was a long term thing. It didn't just actually suck. It was actually like a very interesting way of doing it. But the kids felt frustrated that they couldn't figure it out on their own, and that's where they started having this like, oh, you suck, like this and that, and all that, and complaining to people, And it really wasn't. It was just there was no seeing it through. It was kind of just they didn't like the change.
But you could see how like could you feel it like building in yourself like for the long term, like to a point
I
where it was going to be
really don't think they
beneficial.
gave it enough time. I mean, I 100% think that there's to some extent I saw how that it could be very helpful.
Yeah,
But I just don't think anyone gave it enough time. And it's really easy to form your opinions based on what everyone else is saying because once she started doing it, immediately there was backlash, right? So you're hearing everyone else, and there's this level of like conformity where everyone's just like, yeah, you don't like her, like I don't either. Like
mm,
that's mainly because probably I grew up in LA where it's just like a kind of like a colony mindset where everyone has to believe the same thing or we have to cut you off,
get
sort of idea.
ostracized.
Yeah, so it's basically that.
Interesting. Yeah, reason I kind of like wanted to hear more is because like, I think that'd be like the same kind of process
A
that would
hundred
go
percent.
through with like what we were just talking about, cutting that kind of funding off.
Yeah, and then we had a permanent substitute after that, and she taught the way that everyone was used to,
Yeah,
and which was basically just getting pampered and getting fed the answers. Um,
which does absolutely nothing for your
yeah,
future.
but they were comfortable in that, so they are okay with that.
Yeah, yeah. The short term, it's actually kind of like, I mean, it's pretty simple, but like no pain, no gain, kind
I
of.
sort of I will give one point on the defensive side. A lot of teachers like in high school like they're trying to get you the A because they want you to go to a good college, right? So they'll try and give you the help and stuff like this. But not a lot of teachers will try and get you to actually learn. You know what I'm saying? Like their goal is to like, here, like let me teach my course, and then like if you're struggling, like let me throw you some extra whatever to get an A. But like it's becoming more like not off actual like merit. It's like more just becoming off like just like, oh, you were willing to ask and speak up, which is like, and it's an aspect of it, but
It's
you
a
have,
good quality, but it's not
yeah,
what you're going to
it's
school
not
for.
what you're going to school for, right? And I think part of that is the grading system. I think the fact that you need a 4.6 GPA to get into like some of these top, like higher schools, not even Harvard. I mean, some of the just like the better schools. Um, it's ridiculous. It doesn't incentivize kids to try harder. It more just incentivizes teachers to go easier because it's an unrealistic expectation. And if one school starts going easier, then all the other schools have to.
Yeah, kind of a domino effect.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, honestly, tying it back to like like the meritocracy kind of deal, like if you get people handing out free grades, I'll call them, it kind of demeans the entire purpose of like what the education base is meant to do.
I mean, yeah, and I don't necessarily believe in curving grades. I don't think that you should have like make it a competitive thing.
Yeah.
I think it should just be like based on your knowledge of the subject. But I do think that the average grade should be a C or a B, you know?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the average grade shouldn't be an A. I don't think that's right because I think A is a level of mastery, you know?
Yeah.
And if you feel like that many kids have mastered your class and like also you diminish what it means to be like the best. You know what I'm saying? Like the competitiveness should be in the fact that you've learned this amount. And if your whole class is the best, then they should all get A's.
Yeah.
But is the whole class really the best? Like, I don't
Especially
know.
like if you're going to a public high school and like everyone's just messing around, like
Yeah,
they're not the
yeah,
best.
100%.
Yeah.
I think one thing though with high school though is like the kids are forced to be there. That's a big difference. Like they don't really like want to be there necessarily. They want it for their future, but like when you have to be somewhere, it's like if your mom says go do the dishes and like you were already gonna do it, but she says go do the dishes and now I'm like, oh, I don't want to. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I do think there's a way. I mean, you said like you don't believe in like handing out or like curving grades and like making them better for people. I do think there's a way that like you could do it. Like I think like if you say like the average grade in the class is a C, right? I That means like half the class or 40% is gonna fail it. So
I'm not even saying that. I'm
no,
yeah.
I know that's not
Maybe
what
make
you're.
D a better grade then. Like make D like a just like a little below average. Like
Yeah,
a, you know what I'm saying?
and
I'm not saying D should be a fail.
no, I don't know. I'm just saying like with
Yeah.
that logic, I think that it's possible. Like there are okay ways to hand out like little bits of help, like how like welfare systems should actually be used. Like if you're truly struggling, like for me in like high school calculus, had no idea what was going on, but I did put forth like legitimate effort. You know, I studied. I went to my teacher for help. So like final grades come and I was failing the class, he bumped me up to a C.
Yeah.
Like to me, that makes sense. I was like 5%. I was at like a 65. So it was a little bump, so I didn't fail the class and like have it look terrible on my transcript.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what welfare's meant to do.
Yeah, yeah. And then you were able to succeed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it was one action. You know, there's no repeative incentive. Like if
correct.
you took that teacher's class next year, I don't know if he would have done the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, yeah, you can't make the same mistake twice. Like, and I think there should be like a two strike policy where it's just like, all right, we gave you food for 6 months, get
Yeah,
back out, like go do your thing because we're not feeding you anymore.
or at least show that you're putting forth effort into bettering like your situation.
Or even just like a direct analysis of like them actually trying to. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was getting at. Like
Yeah, yeah. Like not even if you like have a job lined up or something. Like just even the fact that you tried to and like maybe you got fired or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
it's just not right how it is now.
yeah. There's things that are out of your control. Like honestly, like going back to my thing, like understanding calculus, I think out of my control. Like I just didn't understand it. But there are things in your control, and you can. I could have said like, "Hey, I don't understand this. I'm just not going to try and enter the grade like the class with like a 10%." But you know, I put forth effort, got it like as close as I could to a passing grade, and therefore needed just a little bit more help. And I think people can do the same in their actual lives. Maybe I'm still like really struggling to put food on the table, but you know, I'm applying to jobs. I'm not just like, you know, where's my weed money? Like I'm using it in the ways I should.
Yeah, I hear you.
So that's kind of, I think that's all like merit based. Um, and I think it's hard like to really implement policy for that like on a grand scheme.
I just don't think it is. I think it's hard to get voted in maybe because people don't want it, but I think it's just like you're not gonna. There's no like economic collapse that's gonna happen from
Oh no,
it.
no.
No, like I mean, everything will balance back out and then be better. It'll grow.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like logistically, I think it'd be complicated. Like, what government entity is going to oversee this? What are the like qualifying
But what
factors?
do they have to oversee? Are you talking about like?
Like, should this person get a food stamp? Should this person get a check for whatever? Do they deserve it? I think actually going through and looking at what that should be would be complicated, but I don't think it's
But how do we do
impossible.
it now? How do we choose who gets to do the SNAP benefits?
I mean, what I would do
No, but like no, like actually, how do we do it? Like for SNAP, like
for SNAP,
it's like an income base, right?
yeah, and I think income based is dumb. First of all, it should be income based. Maybe it is right now, but like by state. I mean,
I'm not sure if it's income based. I was guessing.
well, I think you could do income based by state. I mean, it's more expensive to live in California than it does in who knows
100%.
where,
Yeah.
in Nebraska. So that would be a factor. I think, um, yeah, kind of like I said, I think you should show that you're working, um, and like maybe you could do by like hours per week worked, and kind of figure out a formula where like your wage times like however many hours you week, and kind of do a point
But
system
why
that
would
way.
that be difficult like to track? Because someone could just fill out a form, and then if they're lying on that, it's like it could just be a legal issue.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to be like, and they could have a bunch of individual sectors. Like how do you like apply for your driver's license? They need to verify your stuff. So like
yeah,
it
that's
could be
actually
just
true.
like that. I mean, it's not that difficult at all.
Yeah, I guess you could co-op systems that we already have. That would probably make sense. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a better way to do it though. It's kind of
Than how it is now. I
yeah,
agree. That's it's. I don't think it helps anyone.
yeah.
Well, I won't say that, but
It helps people, but it
a lot of
also
people. I don't think it helps a lot of people.
I would actually no. I think it helps more than it should.
Well, your definition of help is different than my definition of help.
What is your definition?
My definition of help is giving someone putting them in a better position than they were before.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're helping too many people.
I don't think it puts them in a good position.
Oh, mm, I would say it puts them in a better position, but the community around them in a worse position, and therefore
I
we're
don't agree
helping
with that
too
at
many
all. I
people.
think you're giving them the ability to be addicted on something. I don't think addiction to anything is a betterment of a person. Even if someone gave me $1 million right now, you're not necessarily helping me. You're kind of just giving me $1 million. If it depends honestly what I do with it is what makes it actually if you helped me or not.
Well, them giving you
You could
the
say are trying to help,
okay,
but
then
they're
what?
not helping me if I just go spend it on like a nice car or something.
Oh, that's definitely helping you. I mean, if you went and spent it on
And then
just,
I crash it. I don't know, whatever.
I still think that
I throw
the
it in a
act.
volcano. That was a bad example.
No, I think you have a more like consequentialist approach, and I have like the deontological approach.
Okay.
I think the act is what actually qualifies as helping, because like the intention is to lift people up.
I
What
mean,
they do with
the
it,
road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like it's just like I think that's just not what you should be looking at. That is kind of what I feel like that's the big reason society is getting crippled. I think because people are trying to help people and they're not actually helping them.
yeah. I mean, I can see that being true.
And we don't need like a lot of stuff we don't need government intervention. I mean, I'm not religious, but like the church will give food like to people. There's housing already. There's like housing for the homeless if they want a place to stay. They just want to stay on the street and do drugs and beg for money. I mean, that's just the fact. They don't want to try and get back on their feet because the idea of working it just sounds impossible to them. And if you give them the opportunity to like have to do that, then they'll realize, oh, I can do this. I can go hold a sign for 6 hours of a day and get a paycheck and go live in a somewhere nice, like not nice, but like better than a
Better than it should
poor
be.
person in like Africa or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
the poor in America are way richer than most people in other countries.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like people talk about like the wealth gap, like between the top 1% and bottom, but the bottom 1% actually has it pretty well off considering like being that bottom
And
1%.
I think a lot of people who haven't really like made anything of themselves yet and have this victim mentality, they go to people who are better off than them, and they say like, oh, like you shouldn't have that, like you don't understand, like I've what I've been put through. And they don't even know, like they don't even take a second to think about what the person who has more money than has been through, and maybe they've overcome more than you have, because maybe they've tried to actually break through their victimhood. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So a lot of these people, I mean, they just don't care at all. They don't care about the people who have the money because they're already there. You know what I'm saying? There's no sob story to care about, right? But there is. There
There is.
is.
It's just not
They just don't
their
care because they're
identity.
not, yeah, it's not their identity. They're not a victim. They don't play the victim.
Or even I would
They
say,
just work 2 times as hard as you did.
yeah, it is their identity in the past. Like they built off of where they were, because in America, that's what you can do is you can build off of where you were and uh, like create a better life for yourself when things aren't just handed to you and you're kind of forced to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
which I think is kind of the whole idea of America.
I think part of it though comes from having someone like to instill good morals into you. I think, I mean, I talk about this a lot, but I think since a lot of people aren't religious now, and like most people are like turning towards atheists or like agnostic, I think it's really important to like create your own set of morals, because I think a lot of people, they just kind of like just do stuff based on what feels good and what they think will be good for themselves, but they don't really have like a constitution of what to go by like in their life. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like for example, I myself, I say I'm never gonna smoke because I don't think it would benefit me in any way. I don't need to have that level of pleasure or fun, like that is something that I just don't need.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have that rule set, and then you don't do it, right? So you have something to follow. And even just like when making decisions, you have like this kind of like, I don't know, it's like when you pour like a liquid into like a crack or something, it has a way of, it has a, you're building the walls for it to flow in the right direction. So,
Yeah, but there's work to be done.
well, you have to pour the water.
Yeah, you have to pour the water. Um, that's actually a really good analogy. I've never thought of it like that. That's pretty good. But yeah, I definitely think what's interesting is people can, let's say everyone had like their constitution, their set of beliefs.
Yeah.
Those things can be so different that they're going to conflict anyways. You know what I mean? And I don't think
It,
that's always a bad thing, actually.
no, yeah.
Like
Well,
in the
you need different people in the world. You need different viewpoints,
well, yeah.
and you can rewrite your constitution per se. But I think the rules, I think the main rules for when you're creating like your own set of morals is you have to be absent of emotion. You have to try and find a point where you're not like really like deep in like feeling sad or like really happy. You'll be like, oh, like I'll do something, I'll make this really unrealistic rule, or I'll make this really unrealistic rule that I won't be able to follow. You have to be in a place where you can think like really like clearly, like this is something I can actually follow. You know what I'm saying? And then to build off your point, which you were saying, repeat yourself real quick because I had an idea.
Which part? Oh, it's good to have like difference of opinion, but like people can be different. That one, or
Yeah, and so a lot of people they're gonna have their own constitution that they follow, right? And what you'll see is you'll have a lot of people who agree with their constitution. They'll start grouping together, and we'll be all of our own little collectives where we want to be with people with the same similar morals with us, and we'll all kind of like we'll separate, right? But at the same time, we'll all be like American, right?
yeah,
And as long as we have like
it's communities within a
it's yeah
society.
if we have communities within a broader society, there isn't really that level of conflict. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to go over here, right? I don't need to go over here, and you don't need to go over here. If you want to come over here, this is what the expectation of our area is. This is our societal constitution,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it's under like a broader one, which is like being American, so like knowing English or having a basic understanding of American history, like even if it's like to the smallest degree.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the one thing we can all bond over, but we're in our own area with our own morals, and you don't need to come into mine and try and change my morals because you're 3 people coming into my 40, right?
Yeah.
And obviously maybe there's some place that like, actually I don't agree with this. I was gonna say maybe there's some place where like you're so different that maybe you can't go anywhere, but there's really
There's a place for
there's a
everyone.
group for everyone. Like there's so many people in this world. It's not, maybe it might not be easy for you to find and you might feel outcast, but To that I say just find your mentors, find someone who can like instill the beliefs into you, because I mean, I don't know what the divorce rate is now, but it's extremely high, and a lot of people don't have they don't have someone to instill like their morals into their children. So find someone who you can pick off of that you think is a good man or a good woman, and just build from that.
Yeah, I really like your point. I was kind of going to make the same one later. Um, that like if you have your group of 40 over here, don't bring your 3 people and force me to take your values from like your group of 40 over
Yeah,
here.
100%.
I really like that. I think that's something people are getting away from a lot in today's world. And
Yeah, people get offended. They'll say,
yeah,
"What, you don't want to wear pink hats 24/7? Like, what's wrong with you?" And then they heckle them and then try and convert their whole area.
yeah.
And
But
it's
honestly, the problem is some of the 40 that the 3 are coming to will break off and be like, oh yeah, we need to do that, because they don't stick by that moral
yeah,
constitution.
they don't stick by their constitution. But also, to some extent, I don't necessarily mind that. But it's not like they're breaking off and coming over here. They're breaking off and infighting in their society. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're going to the other people and being like, all right, we'll join you now. They'll be like, no, we need to convert everyone else here.
Yeah, yeah. Which is just not healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
There's if you want to change and be a different person, be all for it. Like, go ahead. But
That's why I do like Christianity. But when they come to me and tell me that I'm gonna go to hell for not believing it,
yeah,
that's when I'm like,
yeah,
you don't need it. Like, I don't need to hear that nonsense. Okay, maybe you're right, but why do you got to tell me that? Like, you need to threaten me. You need to try and put fear into me to join your group. That doesn't help your case.
yeah.
Even if you do believe that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think just being willing to share your ideas is important, but oversharing, pushing and forcing it onto other people is, I think, something that society has gotten too comfortable with, and it just needs to stop.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about this. I don't know if I fully agree with it, but they're saying we need to bring back shame. I was thinking about that. Like, I don't know. To some extent, I do understand why we would need to bring back shame, but also, like, what if things turn around, right? Like, what if I'm just living in my group and then people are trying to come over and shame me? You know what I'm saying? So
I actually, I haven't thought about this a whole lot either, but I actually wouldn't mind that, because this, like, your group can be wrong.
Yeah.
And so another group shaming you and being like, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
I that's good. That's like,
okay. I do agree with like the questioning aspect of it, being like, come on, like, what are you really doing? Like,
that's when people, like, I mean, people a few years ago were like, yeah, bring back bullying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you probably shouldn't bully like little kids, but like the idea of like
giving them some sort of force to do right and like do things good for themselves is the like idea behind that. But most people that say that don't fully understand what it means to be bullied. But I do agree with the concept that they're trying to push.
The concept is good, but maybe the method of delivery is not quite there.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
I mean,
you got anything else?
I'm good off that.
I think I'm good too. Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Always need the handshake in there. Sun's really bright.
It's nice.
I feel Asian.
I'm gay.
Why gay?
I'm happy.
There you go. Is that dude's ass or? No, it is. Good. I need that for later.
300 likes. All right, dude.
300 likes and what?
300 likes and we'll smash him.